fear. Everyone's favorite emotion. I would say that most people I see that are stuck in life, it's due to fear. And I don't take this lightly. Like, your boy's had a shit ton of fear. Now, I want to invite you to the fact that like fear is basically like a flashing light of what you should head towards. Now, I'm not talking about the very immediate fear of like a rustle in a bush when you're in the middle of nowhere. Like that fear that's like happening at this exact moment, responding to something that's happening currently is good fear. But it's this weird thing where like as a culture and a society, we've gotten really safe, and it just seems like fear is the main thing that keeps people stuck. Like, they try to avoid it. I do too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna use the context of relationships. Like, a guy will be like, okay, I see the girl, and like, I wanna go say hi, but I'm like nervous to do it, and then they avoid it, and then they avoid it, and they avoid it. But the thing is, like, the universe kind of like keeps tapping them on the shoulder, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm right here, like, here's the path, like, here's the thing. And it's this weird thing where it's like, we want to avoid fear, but in reality, it's literally the exact thing that we should head towards. Again, don't be a retard. Not telling you to like run into oncoming traffic or like jump off a tall building because it's scary. I'm saying the emotional fear that comes up for us, and it basically being the path and the sign of what you should do. I'm also like, I get it. I also have fear, and I don't want to move towards the fear. So I'm not pretending that I'm some perfect human robot that always moves towards fear. I also will perseverate, and I will also loop, and I will also try to avoid. But what I have seen is that basically whatever the fear is your path. Whatever it is that you're scared of is the path. It's like literally a giant flashing thing that says, here I am, move towards me. Now, what I have seen is none of us want to have to face it. We all kind of try to avoid it, and it keeps tapping us on the shoulder kind of until we do. The other thing that I've found out, by and large, is it's almost always an illusion. It's almost always false. It is this like thing that presents like it's scary, and then you take its clothes off and it's the wimpiest little thing you've ever seen. So we all have it. We all try to kind of buffer or avoid or not have to do it. It continues to tap us on the shoulder, and it is the thing that we should head towards that is going to create the most amount of growth and satisfaction in life, okay? Now, when you're a younger guy in like dating and relationships, fear is gonna look like going up to the girls that you think are attractive and starting a conversation. And when you start to do that on a consistent basis, like, you're the man, dude. I don't know any other way to say it, but like, that guy's got the sauce. Like, that's a confident guy. He's stepping up. Even cooler is when the guy does it without the shtick, like without the drinking and the booze and the shtick, and he's just kind of like, he just kind of fucking puts his personality out there and invites the social rejection, which is the one thing that everyone is scared of and nobody wants to have to do. And I get it. But the guys that do that get really good results. They have a beautiful life. Like, they have a beautiful life, man. Like, they crush, okay? Not only do they have like tons of amazing experiences with like lots of great women, but in addition, because they've built themselves as men and because they've leaned into it that much, paradoxically, later on in life, the fear becomes making yourself actually like vulnerable to a girl, like committing, which I'm not telling any guy here to do. I'm saying like take your path, and you know, if you're earlier on your journey, just, you know, go be a hoe bag, but lean into the fear and like lean into the vulnerability. So I guess my pitch to you here is like, as you do this, it's not just that you get all of these amazing experiences with women, which you do, but like by facing that fear, like you grow so much, you feel so much better. It's so much more fulfilling. And what I have seen out of the guys that lean into that do it, that face the fear, is they end up with beautiful lives. Like they end up with fucking awesome women that love the fuck out of them. Because those guys have really built themselves, dude. Like they've really built something. Like there's not, it's a hard to fake signal, motherfucker. Like it's hard to fake that, you know? Like a guy that's like stepped up consistently and like put his balls and his personality on the line consistently, like faced that pressure repeatedly, is like built different. And my take on it, for whatever it's worth, is that like it's a richer life. It's more fulfilling, because that's the like how the fear manifests at the beginning of the journey, is like leaning into like, you know, hitting on and talking to young ladies, but then later on that turns into vulnerability of like making yourself vulnerable to a woman, you know, and like really showing up and like really like allowing yourself to be seen and like really in the motherfucker, dude. And like that's really alive, you know, like that's real living, dude. And I just feel like it's a shame when guys don't do it. Like when they don't take that journey and they don't lean into it. I'm not saying, you know, make your whole life a stretch, you know, but when they like don't lean into that fear and they don't lean into the vulnerability that like grows them, and they just like take the comfortable option and like take the emotionally easy option like again and again and again, like I think it kind of kills their soul, man. I think it like kills their spirit, you know, like it's just sad, dude. Like don't do it, man. Just step up, dude. Like whatever the fear is, you know, if you're having trouble with something, you know, I put my email below, like shoot me a message, man. I'm happy to chat about it. There's a good chance I've like done whatever it is that you're trying to do, and happy to talk to you about it. But I mean, I can tell you on my own journey, like for years, the vulnerable and scary thing was like, you know, going up to the girl that I found the most attractive and like riding the edge, you know. I mean, transparently, I'm kind of on this like second journey now of like really going there, like really making myself vulnerable. And it feels like shit, not gonna lie. Does not feel good. Like, oof, it has been a tremendous amount of fear and vulnerability. And I don't really know what's on the other side. Honestly, could be more pain. Could be a lot more pain. I really don't know. But I feel like I'm a better man for doing it. For like stepping up and committing and leaning into what I'm afraid of. Which is the other thing I see, like when I'm in a room of guys that are like working on this area of life, sometimes I just think to myself like, oh, I think all these guys are like, you know, anxiously and avoidantly attached. Like they really don't want to have to like attach and make themselves vulnerable. And so they're just like dating all these different women. I'm not saying that's true, because there are guys who are like really building their skill set. And for a certain amount of time, that was like me. And then I felt like I was like, oh, I'm just like chasing after women because I just like enjoy it. Like I love it. Like kind of like my peak value was like lust and like sex and just like enjoying all that. But I think I've discovered a little bit later in life that like, that it's vulnerability, and that it's like leaning into that, and that's like what creates all of these like really beautiful experiences and all these like beautiful moments. But I'm recording this, like I'm pretty early to the game here. Like this is me like a couple weeks into doing this. And like really leaning into the vulnerability of like a relationship. So, caveat emptor, right? Like buyer beware. This could turn out to be a terrible idea. And I could be coming back to you guys telling you to not do that. So we shall see. But it's also been forcing me to kind of like turn to like source or universe or God or whatever you want to call it, because I do have to say like really, really deep vulnerability, like man, like it's hard to do, dude. And like if you're really going there and you don't really have anyone to turn to, then I've kind of found that like that's the only game in town, right? Is like source, universe, like whatever you want to call it. Like I have seen it be basically kind of, the only game in town if you're really showing up and if you're like really being vulnerable. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it for now, which is that most men's path is leaning into fear. I don't know what it is for the lady folk. I'm not a woman, couldn't tell you. But I can tell you as a man that it just seems like it is leaning into whatever your fear is. So it's pretty easy when I'm like talking to guys and they're like, da, 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 da. I'm like, what are you afraid of? I'm like, and I'm like, we're going right towards it. Because that's where all the growth is. That's where all the freedom is. That's where all the expansion is like, leaning into it. Not in a destabilizing way. I'm not trying to like blow the person's stack out. You want to make it safe. You want to make it secure. I'm not telling you to like do something fucking stupid, but like it's getting the person to like lean into the vulnerability and the fear. But it gives you so much energy, man. Like right after you do it, you've literally got all the energy in the world. You're like so alive, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you take a guy and he's like scared to do something and you like get him in a good spot and you get him doing it, that motherfucker's alive, dude. Like alive. That's the other thing that's really cool about like vulnerability and fear, which is like you feel so alive, I don't even know why that is, dude, because it's kind of like there's this survival instinct, and the survival instinct is to like avoid the fear. But when you do that, again, not talking about like present things that are occurring, but like, emotional fear or like forward facing fear. But like everything in you is like fear and like telling you not to do it. But if you do that and you stay comfortable, you kind of like a little bit of you dies. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel good. But then if you face it, all this energy comes online. And you feel so alive, And it's like, I don't really know why that is. All I can say is that it seems like the right path. Like it's kind of the first layer I look at when I chat with a guy is kind of like, okay, well, what is he afraid of, and then kind of seeing like, okay, how can we start to like baby step, walk this motherfucker down like into whatever it is that he's afraid of, and like kind of see through the boogeyman to a certain degree. Like it tends to be like an illusion, more or less, like it's just time and time again. It's like people have fear and then they move towards the fear and then it's like poof, gone. And I don't really understand why that is. Like I don't really know why that is. I can just say that like when you have fear, it seems so big, it seems so scary, whatever it is for that person, whether it's like putting a post online or like trying a new career or a new business, or like talking to a girl, or like getting in, it like seems so scary. But then once they do it, like it seems so small. Like, you know, in hindsight, it's like, oh, I don't know why I was so scared of that, you know? But then all the juice is on the other side. So that is my pitch for doing what you are afraid of. I'm not saying your entire life should be you basically just like having fear and doing the fear. Not advocating to have your entire life be you like, you know, obliterating your limits. But we just so rarely do it. So like the error rate is not a person continuously leaning into their edge. The error rate is like literally never doing it, and like kind of like avoiding it and buffering it and like doing what they can to avoid having to do it until it builds up to a point that it's like, okay, it's go time, and then it releases so much energy. So yeah, that is my take for today. My email below the video. If you ever want to chat, connect, drop me an email. Love to chat, see what you're working on. Love you guys. Todd out. But as always, I shall return.